We didn't find out about it immediately, but he was at the Orient Correctional Facility down around the center of Ohio, around Columbus, and they do. This is a facility where you go when you're first sent to prison. You're kind of classified, kind of taught, I suppose, what prison life is going to be like. I have a brother's a prison guard, so he told me all about it. But they do routine checks on you, and they try to vary them up so that the prisoner doesn't know when they're coming to check. Anyway, at just about 3 hours ago, he was found hanging in his cell. They began life-saving measures. They realized this was very, very serious. He was taken down to the Ohio State, I believe flown to the Ohio State Medical Center. They tried resuscitation events, and about 2 hours ago, Ariel Castro was pronounced dead. He was found hanging in his cell, we're told. That's about all we know. A bit earlier, it became very clear that this was very serious because the administrators, the high-level people at both the hospital and the prison facility were busy. It was local time. It was 11:30 at night. They're not going to be at work unless something very, very serious happens. So we knew almost immediately that this was very, very serious.
Paul, do we know if Ariel Castro was on suicide watch?
Not necessarily suicide watch, but certainly in a restricted area protected from other inmates. The thought really was that he might be harmed by other inmates because of his notoriety, maybe another inmate in the Hispanic community. So he was certainly in a protected area, although not completely restricted. How he hung himself, we don't know. Whether it be a bed sheet, who knows? We don't know right now. But he was in an area where they would not necessarily come every hour on the hour. They would maybe come 10 minutes apart, and then after an hour and a half, just so he didn't know when they were coming to check on him. But he somehow, eluded that and was able to hang himself. And it was very serious early on. They flew him almost immediately to the medical center at Ohio State.
Paul, we have to apologise about the line for our viewers at the moment. It's not particularly clear, although we can still hear you, and I will press on if that's OK. We know that Ariel Castro, of course, he pleaded guilty to the charges against him, but he was quick to defend his character in court, wasn't he? And to say that he'd turned to God now and was ready to face his time behind bars.
He was, but at the same point in time, Hannah, he was defiant to a point. At one point, blaming the women. So there's two sides to Ariel Castro. At one point, blaming the women, saying that the sex was consensual. They knew they shouldn't have gotten in my car. And then the flip side of that, saying, yeah, I did it, and I'm facing up to it. I don't want the women to have to testify. That sort of thing. So which guy is he? That's a good question, but it all went to the grave with him tonight.